Hey everybody, it's me, Greg, from the Nature Center again, bringing you another digital creature feature, this time some really cool animals to show you guys. So if you have any questions at all during the video, just drop us a comment and maybe I'll answer it in the video. If not, somebody will answer it in the comments below. With that being said, let's hop right in and meet our animals. Alright, so our first animal today is a green frog, and we're going to try to make sure that we keep all of our friends contained as best we can in our enclosure. But you'll notice that we have a lot of jumpy friends today. So this is a green frog that is actually another wild capture from the Nature Center. So we're allowed to collect a certain amount of non-endangered or non-protected species, and the green frog is one of them that we have on display here.
How big do they normally get?
So these guys can be anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. The females are usually a little bit bigger, and they have a little bit different coloration. So we think that this is a female because she is pretty big, and then you'll see when I show her later, the bottom of her throat is a light color, and the males usually have a bit darker color throat. So she is a female, we believe, and they get about 2 to 4 inches in size.
Do they lay eggs?
So yeah, that's actually the really cool thing about amphibians that we did not talk about last week with our salamanders, who are also amphibians. So amphibians are an animal that lays eggs underwater. So they start the first portion of their life completely underwater. So green frogs actually lay about 1,000 to 7,000 eggs in one sitting. And so they do lay eggs. They lay a lot of eggs, and they become tadpoles, and then they kind of lose those aquatic features, and they gain a little bit of those land features. They grow their arms, they get lungs. You can see her breathing right now, and they lose their tail and their gills, and so they become a semi-aquatic animal, just like salamanders do.
And where can we find them?
So the really cool thing about these guys, these green frogs, is they are everywhere. You can find them pretty much everywhere in the United States and Canada, mostly in small ponds, marshes, swamps. They like the edges of lakes, streams and rivers, other kinds of bodies of water like that. You can find these guys all over, which is why I think they're a really cool animal. I remember catching these guys all over the place, in my backyard even sometimes. Alright, so before we move on to my next animal, I just want to show you guys the proper technique for grabbing a wild frog or amphibian or toad, whatever have you. So like my salamanders, I'm going to get my hands wet. And this is a really jumpy frog, so we'll see if I can't grab her. But we're trying to make a seat belt. Oh, just like that. Oh, maybe not just like that. A seat belt around her waist, just like that. So then we've got a nice tight grip on her, and she's not able to kick out like that. And you can see that lighter colored throat under there. That tells me she's a female. So I'll put her in here, and we'll get a nice little lid on that so I can bring out my next friend. And you guys will get a very special treat at the end of this. Alright, so my next friend, a little bit smaller. This, oops, is an American toad. So he has a little bit better camouflage for this, but I hope you guys can all see him, or rather her, because this is actually also a female. So the Nature Center actually got this toad. This is a very, very special case. This toad was actually donated to us by a family who the granddaughter was taking care of it with her grandfather, and he unfortunately passed away, and they gave us the frog to take care of because she was no longer able to. And so we actually have a really cool toad with a really cool story. And so we actually got we got her just at the end of 2019 last year.
Is it a boy or a girl, and how can you tell?
So like we said, this is a female, and it's a similar reason for the frog, is she's got a lighter colored throat, and the males usually have a darker colored throat. And then the females are usually have these like 2 nice little warts on their head like that.
And how old do they get?
So the really cool thing about these guys is they can actually get up to 35 years old, so they can get pretty old compared to other animals of their size and type.
And what do they eat?
So toads are really cool because they eat a lot of animals that we consider to be pests. About 88% of their prey are invertebrates that we would classify as pests, so they're really good for farmers. They eat flies, crickets, locusts, grasshoppers, bees, wasps, beetles, spiders, earthworms, slugs, snails, the whole 9 yards. Everything that you don't want eating your garden, these guys eat. So if you ever see them around in your garden, chances are they're doing you a little favor. So like I said, the environmental impact of these guys is more of them on us. They control a lot of pests for us. It's estimated that in the single 3-month season, one single toad will consume just under 10,000 insects. So they have a very, very big impact on those crops and those gardens. And they're just kind of cool to look at and catch. So like I said, you can catch these guys the same way. You just want to make a little seatbelt. And thankfully the toad is a little bit more compliant. So you just make a little seatbelt behind its legs like that, and you have a nice safe grip on your toad. It's not going to go anywhere. So we'll put this one back over here. And like I said, you guys get a special treat today because I actually misread the creature feature and I went out and I caught another type of frog. So I caught from our sun rain room, and this guy is really jumpy, but really cool. This is a gray tree frog. So these guys, oh, maybe he wants to just hang out in my hand. So these guys are really cool. They mostly hang out, like their namesake, in trees, and you probably won't really catch them on the ground too much. They've got a really cool camouflage, and I wish I could show, you guys, that really cool yellow in between his legs. So the other really cool thing about them is they can actually change color. When I caught him yesterday in our sun rain room, he's actually a little bit more white than this, and you can see he's kind of adopted a little bit darker coloration. These guys can go all the way from kind of like a bright green to a light white to almost like a dark gray. They're really cool animals, and it looks like he's going to jump onto this little plant. Nope, maybe not. Well, that is all. Oh, there it is. All right, so that is just about all we've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining us with our digital creature feature. We hope to see you again next week with all of our cool animals. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments so we can have somebody answer them below. Bye for now. See you next week.